Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. I am Gloria Atta. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu will address the nation at 7 a.m. on Thursday as part of activities to mark the 2025 Democracy Day celebration. Tinubu will also attend a joint session of the National Assembly at the National Assembly Complex in Abuja. The Inter-Ministerial Committee on Democracy Day stated this in a statement this Wednesday. Abdulrakim Adeoye, who issued the statement on behalf of the committee's Director, Information and Public Relations, said Tinubu will later attend a joint session of the National Assembly at noon after the address. However, Adeoye said there will be no Democracy Day parade, adding that later in the day, there will be a public lecture on Democracy Day celebrated at the State House Conference Center, Abuja by 4 p.m. The theme of the lecture is Consolidating on the Gains of Nigeria's Democracy, Necessity of Enduring Reforms. This year's Democracy Day event marks Nigeria's 26 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria following the end of military rule in 1999. Previously celebrated on May 29, the swearing-in day for the President, governors, National Assembly members and state lawmakers. The Democracy Day event was moved to June 12 in 2018 to honor the annulled 1993 presidential election won by MKO Abiola and considered one of Nigeria's most credible polls. The 2025 Democracy Day celebration will be the third since President Tinubu assumed office in 2023 after winning a highly contested poll earlier that year. Despite 26 years of unhindered democracy in Nigeria, critics are questioning the country's democratic values. A publisher and chieftain of the main opposition People's Democratic Party, Dele Momodu, is one of such persons. Speaking on national television, Momodu warned that the country is sliding into civilian dictatorship. As Nigeria prepares to mark Democracy Day, a two-term presidential aspirant and a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Dele Momodu, has raised alarm that Nigeria's democracy is in danger. Momodu raised the concern when he featured on a national television program on Wednesday, adding that the situation is especially sad as the country prepares to mark Democracy Day. Momodu blamed both elected officials and government institutions for ignoring the people, saying the leaders are bold and shameless in how they treat Nigerians. He added that those who fought and died for Nigeria's democracy during the June 12 struggle would be heartbroken if they were alive today. On the crisis within the PDP, Momodu blamed the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for taking over the party and causing chaos. He described Wike's actions as a coup against the PDP, accusing him of forcing his will on the party. Now, President Bola Tinubu has sparked controversy by naming or renaming at least 6 public institutions after himself within 2 years of his administration. This move has raised eyebrows among Nigerians, with many questioning his motives and legacy. Clearview's Florence Joshua brings us details.
6 institutions and edifices have so far been named Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with just 2 years of being in office. The institutions named after the president include Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport, which was formerly Abubakar Imam International Airport in Minna, Niger State. Bola Ahmed Tinubu Way, a major road in Abuja's Southern Parkway, S8/S9. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu Complex, the National Assembly Library and Resource Center in Abuja. Bola Ahmed Tinubu Technologies Innovation Complex, a tech innovation hub at the Nigerian Immigration Service headquarters in Abuja. Bola Tinubu Polytechnic established in Gwarimpa, Abuja. Bola Ahmed Tinubu Barrack, as well as a newly constructed army barracks in Asokoro. And most recently, the renovated International Conference Center, which is now renamed Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center. Many Nigerians have taken to social media to express their disapproval, labeling the move as self-serving, narcissistic, and indicative of an abuse of power. Critics argue that these practices reflect a culture of sycophancy and undermines democratic values. Some have also pointed out that the country's economic and security challenges should be a priority over seeking personal glory.
Person wey build am, IDB, no name, he didn't name it, he didn't name the place after himself. He named the place International. Like every other country have their international. But you now renovate for billions. People where they press wiki and renovation, then they commission renovation. They renovate the commission.
President Bola Tinubu and APC government make una take am easy o. APC pele o, wherever your APC. Because the way una they go APC, maybe by the end of this your regime, the whole of Nigeria go rename, they go name am Bola Tinubu Nigeria PLC or Limited. Because as it be today so now, it is not about governance, it is about sycophancy, propaganda on steroids. So everybody where they around the president, it is a battle for who go become the sycophant in chief. We must take our personal life seriously because what Nigeria is today is a huge joke. Nigeria exists so that other countries can learn how not to govern their countries. This is the textbook definition of how not to govern a country. And if you think that the people where they do now them they at risk, the joke is on you and me who are the ordinary citizens. We go continue to pay and make up for the recklessness and rudderless leadership provided by this set of people. Renaming of institutions, so make una continue. Murasi, APC, Nigeria PLC. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
Civil society groups have also condemned the trend, warning that it sets a dangerous precedent that could have far-reaching consequences for the country's political culture. Awal Musa Rafsanjani, Executive Director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, urged the National Assembly to pass legislation prohibiting the renaming of public institutions after seating officials. As Tinubu's presidency continues, the impact of his action on his legacy remains to be seen. While some argue that these contributions to the country warrant such recognition, others believe that true leadership is measured by lasting impact on citizens' lives and not by names on public buildings. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview News Desk.
In another development, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division has struck out two motions filed by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and awarded costs of 100,000 naira against him. A three-member panel of the Court of Appeal, presided over by Justice Haman Barka, struck out the motions on May 21, 2025, following the request for withdrawal of the appeal. The respondents were Senator Natasha Udwahan, the Clerk of the National Assembly, the Senate, and the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions, Senator Neda Imaswen. The court, in its ruling, held applications seeking to withdraw the 2 months dated and filer on 20th March 2025 and 25th March 2025 is granted and the motions are struck out. As speculations of a one-party system in Nigeria continues to generate reactions among citizens, there are fears that Nigeria may experience the same situation currently playing out in Cameroon, as President Paul Biya hopes to retain power after 43 years of being in power. The recent speculation has raised significant concerns, considering that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Clearview News crew was on the streets of Abuja to find out the opinions of Nigerians on African leaders' tight grip on power.
President Paul Biya of Cameroon has been serving as the second president of Cameroon from 1982 and was previously prime minister from 1975 to 1982. As of 2025, Biya is said to be the second longest ruling president in Africa and oldest head of state in the world. Introducing political reforms with the context of one-party system in the 1980s and later accepting the introduction of the multi-party system in the 1990s under serious pressure, Biya, being 92 years, is said to be a contestant in Cameroon's forthcoming presidential election. The question of many is what can be done to stop these sit-tight leaders who want to remain in power, considering the prevailing circumstance that Nigeria is tilting towards a one-party system. Speaking with Nigerians on the streets of Abuja, citizens are of the opinion that youth's unpreparedness is the reason why the aged have consistently remained in power.
The youth, of course, should be given an opportunity to have a say in governing their countries and making decisions in their economy. But even at that, what we have currently is a situation where we have elderly people who don't want to concede power, who don't want to leave power. They want to stay there until they die. I mean, Paul Biya is a very wonderful example you gave. I also point to Kagame of Rwanda. This guy has been there for God knows how long. No matter whatever it is you're doing, no matter how good you think you are, no matter what dividends of democracy you think you are delivering, there is no need to hold on to power if you're actually not intoxicated by power. So the problem is people are actually intoxicated by power.
The younger generation of Nigerians are very complacent. They are not ready for a lot of things, including leadership. If not so, if you take a head count of human beings in Nigeria, the younger people within the age bracket you want to call the youth form the majority. And if majority carries the vote, or if with our energy we want to insist that the proper thing is done so that we enthrone our own, at least we'll be able to ease all of them out of office. They know that the Nigerian people or the younger Africans are not ready. And so they capitalize on that. They continue to distract them so that they can remain in power as long as possible.
I do not blame the elder people. I blame the youth. If the youth would be very honest, what makes the elders are still ruling us? They use the youth as the material to cause confusion so that they can continue. But if you can focus to elect a person that can help Nigerians and forget about this corruption, everybody wants to be rich at the same time. That's what I face in Nigeria.
Citizens are, however, of the opinion that the youths need to rise up to their responsibility, adding that every serving president and public office holder should be given a single tenure, after which they cannot recontest. Citizens are, however, of the opinion that the youth need to rise up to their responsibility, adding that every serving president and public office holder should be given a single tenure, after which they cannot recontest, thereby giving other eligible individuals the opportunity to lead. Hence, Nigeria is not practicing a monarchical system of government.
Given that, like in Nigeria, when you have 2 terms, you can't go again. If we don't do it like that, it can't go round. It's not going round because we are making the policy. Those that are making the policy is because they want it to favor them. So if they are going to be sincere, when you do 2 terms, you can't go again.
Abiola Alafe reporting for Clever News.
And on the foreign scene, the world's richest person and Donald Trump's former advisor, Elon Musk, has said on Wednesday that he regretted some of his recent criticisms of the US president, saying they went too far. Musk's expression of regret came just days after Trump threatened the tech billionaire with serious consequences if he sought to punish Republicans who voted for a controversial spending bill. Their blistering breakup, largely carried out on social media before a riveted public on Thursday last week, was ignited by Musk's harsh criticism of Trump's so-called big, beautiful spending bill, which is currently before Congress. It was gathered that some lawmakers who were against the bill had called on Musk, one of the Republican Party's biggest financial backers in last year's presidential election, to fund primary challenges against Republicans who voted for the legislation. And that's the news. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.